All right, buying and selling Milsurplus on Armslist. Okay, another venue out there. I'm old enough to remember that if you wanted to sell anything, a shotgun, a lawnmower, or something, you used to put it in a local newspaper. Now, into the classifieds. Now, newspapers are kind of a thing of the past. So, what has happened is over the years, there are several websites. One big one is Craigslist. Uh, and you can try to sell secondhand goods, services. There's even job postings in there. Uh, and you hear some horrible stories about it. Well, another thing, a lot of, as the liberal gun people and associated with anything. A lot of newspapers, I don't know if they even have sporting goods, they allow you to list guns. And Craigslist, much like a lot of online venues, listing guns or ammo is forbidden. And I still know people that try to do it. They take a box of cartridges and put a screwdriver and advertise it as I'm selling a screwdriver for $45, and you get the message that you're selling a box of ammo. But they have something called Armslist, which is the Craigslist for firearms, and I've used it. Now, Craigslist or Armslist is another three-ring circus. Years ago, it used to be free. Now you have to pay a monthly fee. And the reason they did that, it does eliminate a lot of the nonsense. Because me and a friend of mine used to use it years ago, say like 5, 6 years ago. And it's wide open, crazy. A couple gun dealers I knew tried it, and what happens is somebody will get a hold of you and say, hey, let's meet somewhere, and I'll look at this gun, and then what happens is they don't show. Okay, so I'll tell you how to deal with that and give you some advice on how to avoid any type of a trick, some kid pranking you just to have you drive out and be standing there forever, and nobody ever shows. And also a lot of cons. There's a lot of people getting ripped off or fake ads or something like that, or much like on Craigslist selling cell phones or cars, there are people actually killed. Okay, you never have anyone come to your home. Always meet them somewhere. Okay, and don't go alone if you don't know the person. Well, let's look at the website, and then I'll give you some more advice on how to navigate this. I have sold things on Armslist, and I actually even bought something once, and I'll explain how all that went. Okay, Armslist works just like an advertisement. It's throughout the country, and if you want it to go, let's say, and you got choices. There are vendors, private party deals, there's everything on there. Okay, and it covers the whole country. So I forget how you would go and you find your state. There's a way you can go locally and just find your state area and find something close by. Or, there are FFL dealers, you can find a deal and buy it. And basically you put out what you're selling, and you receive emails through this site. All the site does is list your advertisement. The only downside is you can only put like 3 pictures. Power search. Let's go power search. Location. Here we go. You can find your state. It's New Hampshire. North Carolina. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Greensboro. So there, category. Let's look. Let's look for antique firearms, type of listing, for sale, seller type, private party. Keywords, whatever, and we'll just do a random search. Alright, and there we go. Antique Daisy BB gun, M44 mod 15. Ooh, M4498. It looks like it's sporterized or something. Private party, shipping no, $1,500. So you see, this is kind of insane. With that, when you search, the one thing that I did buy is a pawn shop listed Mosin Nagant rifle, and they listed it as it's available in our store, and it was like a 35-40 minute drive for me to find this pawn shop, and I found it, went in there, examined the gun, and I bought it. You know, so you can find a listing like that, private party. So that's how it basically works. So let's go. And I've sold things. I've sold Milsurp on this. Just put a listing up. I meet the people in a parking lot or something. I've sold several guns using this venue. Okay. Alright, so like I told you guys, the only gun that I kind of bought off of this was listed by a pawn shop, and it, you know, it's basically they gave you the address, come here, look at it. It wasn't that far away. I drove there and I bought the gun. I've sold several guns on this, and they're varying guns. Some were Milsurp, you know. I got a lot of offers on one or two of them, but I ended up not selling them. You know, one, I think I sold the Carcano or something. I met the guy at a Walmart parking lot, and he bought the rifle from me. So, how you would be contacted? Okay, we'll get into the selling part, or you know, you just reverse this. Somebody will send you an email. And you know, you get to, is it still available right there, and then that means this person, you know, I used to get those. Is it available? And you say yes, it is. And I found right away, if somebody's just texting you. Now I know a lot of people only like to text. I guess they have a fear if you speak on the actual cell phone that, you know, you may catch an illness or something. I have no idea. But the one thing to do, and a gun dealer told me this, he goes, whether you're buying on an online like the gun broker or something, call the person. There should be a phone number. Gun broker requires you have a phone to be contacted in case there's a problem. Okay? Because if there's a problem with the thing don't show up or whatever, they tell you, have you called this person and discuss this? Okay? Before you can say, I didn't, you know, put in a claim, I sent payment and received the item, stuff like that. Same thing here. I found most of the people who just text are jerking you around, and there's always an excuse, and you're like, well, meet me here, and then, well, I can't make it, and then this and that. Or it's just somebody breaking your stones, telling you, well, I live so many miles away, can you meet me halfway at a point and everything. And if you're getting, when you try to call them on the number and it tells you this number is just set up for texting, don't even bother, just ignore it. Okay? I found like somebody will say, okay, I'm interested in what you're selling. I said, fantastic, this is my phone number, my name, call me and we'll discuss it. If the person doesn't call, okay, there's something wrong there, okay, be wary. You know, I had something up recently, and I said, the guy asked about it, I said, here, call me, and he called at a decent hour, he called me directly, discussed what it was, and he said, look, I'll pay you this. Okay, he made an offer, is basically what he did verbally. And I said, no, I'll hold off. I'm not going to, thanks for the offer, but I'm not going to do it. And he said, okay. And he's very friendly. I just thought I'd ask, before we went out and met somewhere and had to discuss it. He goes, okay, if that's the way it is, fine. And that was the end of that. Not a problem. Okay. One guy did call him, and he was interested in something I had, and we discussed it, and I went and met him. And actually, when we met at this parking lot, we sat there. He agreed and wanted it, and I ended up sitting there with the guy for about a half hour talking about guns. So it's not all bad. You just have to use some common sense. Don't get greedy. See, the problem is you have to look at all this when it comes to buying and selling. Okay? If you know what you want for the gun, and people will call you and tell you, I ain't paying you that, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, no. Okay? Be prepared for that, and just tell them politely, I'm not like hurting for money real bad or nothing, and I just don't want to sell it for that price. But it's crucial you speak to them on the telephone. If they do not wish to call you, I'd be a little leery. Okay? Then there were people that talked to me on the phone. It's another weird trick. Guy said he'd meet me at this point in time. And you got to do it in a place where you can just sit and park and not draw suspicion. And I sat in the parking lot for sometimes a half hour, 35 minutes, and these people will show up. Okay, they're just a half hour late. And oh, I'm sorry, this and that, you're still here. And I said, yeah, I am. So, and then you'd go, and it's reasonable, and you make the deal, and it's all cool. So yeah, you have to be careful. Use a lot of common sense. Don't fall for, there's a lot of people that'll tell you go meet them and they won't show up. Then they'll say they're sorry and let's do it again, and if they're trying to get you to travel a distance, be leery. I don't know, I've done it and it worked out. I've done it and it didn't work out. Okay, but the key is make sure that they'll talk to you on the phone. Okay, if you're just getting text and you try to call the number back and it just tells you this number's set up for text, then that's a scam, it's a con, avoid it. Okay, and you can use this as a venue. Okay, a little scary at times, because back in the old days, my friend, he'd go anywhere and do this. He was selling all kinds of stuff, and he would get false calls, he gets some weird people, a lot of strange stuff, or no shows and all this other, but he just kept plugging away at it, and I kind of didn't. But it is a useful tool, and it is a venue to either find things or to sell them. Okay, and you guys complain about the gun broker, you've seen that one example. There's some insanely priced stuff there that's junk. Okay, so you got to use your head on what's being offered. Okay, all right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helps you. Another venue to check out, and hit the like button and subscribe, please. All right, thank you.